Okay, she talking about Prozac being full of fluoride, Lexapro being full of fluoride. Um, don't you know that some of that stuff don't be accurate information? Like, if I post that shit on Facebook right now, it's gonna flag my post for um false information. Now the Jews giving people fluoride to control them. I don't know about all that. I can't speak on that. That do sound kind of familiar. I've heard something like that in the past. Listen, let me give you a backstory. Excuse me. I've been on medications where, like I told y'all, I fell asleep in the caseworker's lap. I've been in medications that had my heart. I'm on one of them now. Um, but it's not with the same combination, so I was like, I'll give it a try again. Right now, it's like got my blood pressure at like 147 over 102. But they say we gotta monitor it, okay? So, yeah. And I remember it doing all that to me when I was in my 20s. But anyway, different medications is going to do different things. That's why it's called trial and error. You got to find what's best for your body, what your body agrees with, what your mind agrees with. I told the doctor maybe when I got to Mississippi, no, when I was in Atlanta, I said, look, I need to be on a medication to where I can be able to function to take care of my kids. I got to drive. I'm not trying to get no wreck. I'm trying to take my kids back and forth to school or to daycare. None of that crap. I'm trying to get my kids back. I'm not trying to look. If y'all either y'all trying to help me to get my kids back, or I'll sue y'all for trying to cause me to lose my kids. Take your pick. Same rundown I gave the bank when my foster mama fucking called herself putting my money when she took my money and put that shit in a CD to the point where she put it in her name and I couldn't touch it, but my name was on the check. That crooked shit. And I had to threaten the bank. And they gave me my money. So I told them, don't put me on no shit that's gonna have me catatonic. That's gonna have me up in the hospital masturbating, talking about I'm gonna lose my kids. I'm gonna lose my kids. Had me up in a fucking emergency room masturbating, talking about I'm gonna lose my kids. Have my fucking chest fluttering, talking about about to hit an 18-wheeler. You're gonna experience different things with these medications. Especially up there with the type of medicines that they talking about having you on, Candy. But it boils down to you having a relationship or connection with your doctor. You They have a thing called patient advocate, patient rights. You tell them lower your dose. You tell them, hey, this combination right here is not working for me. Like me, I gotta hit my doctor up come Tuesday and say, hey man, this shit is shooting the shit up out of my blood pressure. I already sent a text message. It's 2:30 in the morning. I text my nurse. She sent me the blood pressure thing. We already knew with the affector to be monitoring my blood pressure. Now that I'm on this new medication for my depression, they said anything wrong, you tell your doctor. Any side effects, you tell your doctor. So all this about, so if you can't follow simple instructions like that, then that's your problem. That's your fault. But don't be going around brainwashing other people like these doctors don't care or these doctors are just Disney. Some doctors don't give a fuck. But it's called patient advocacy, patient rights. You have a right to go and request for another motherfucking doctor. And you don't get to choose your diagnosis, ma'am. Just because you don't agree that you're not, you don't agree that you're schizophrenic. You don't agree that you have schizoaffected or bipolar or whatever they got. They falsely diagnosed me with psychosis. They falsely diagnosed me with bipolar. It took them a minute to get it right. But how you gonna ever get it right if you keep dipping off the post? And I tell China all the time. I ask China how is she feeling. I tell China all the time, if you don't like the way this medication is making you feel, you tell your doctor. I'm somewhat level-headed right now, but guess what? My blood pressure is high as fuck. It's in the middle of the night, and my blood pressure always seems to shoot up in the middle of the night. So it's not wise for me to get out while they shooting firecrackers and go for a walk. Maybe I probably could like march in place or some shit, but I probably gotta be quiet about it because we got new neighbors living downstairs. China is getting her snow on. Yeah, this medication got me coughing. Or maybe I just have a cough. I don't know. But stop telling people that shit. Oh, this medication is designed to control you. No, it's not. You going to see the doctor. They not coming to see you. So how the fuck are they controlling you? Let's answer that, Queen. Karen. You going to see them. You showing up in their office. They don't know you. You popping up in their place. You on their turf. So you say you're giving them an invitation to control you? Now, my doctor that I have right now, at first I did not like her. I did not really agree with the shit she was doing, but my gut feeling told me to stick with her, and we all right now. We here. We getting through it, and she talks calmly to me. And a lot of times lately, when the past couple of years, when I hang up the phone with her, I hang up the phone with us. I feel better. I smile. I'm all right when I can hang up the phone with her. There'll be certain shit I'm like, man, that's some bullshit. That's dumb. But some shit, a lot of times after the conversation, I can smile. Or sometimes I feel like I'm not getting nowhere. I'm beating a dead horse. I write it down and I address it at the next fucking conversation. Like my doctor lets me vape when I'm talking to her. My doctor lets me curse when I'm talking to her. My doctor lets me yell when I'm talking to her. She lets me be me. You at liberty to discuss whatever the fuck you want to the doctor. So it's whatever you tell them that determines your diagnosis. You know that, right? But me, I feel like if I want help, I gotta be honest. And that's when they sit there and they determine, well, I'm not gonna change your medication today because your medication, I mean, what's going on with you right now is your situation. You gotta change your situation. You gotta change your people. You gotta change your circle. You gotta change your environment. They not always just putting you on certain shit. My doctor tell me a lot of lately. You doing well. I think you handling your what's going on with you pretty well. Even the shit with you. I think you handling it pretty well. So it's whatever you divulge to them is what makes them. Now, I will tell you, there do be some fucked up doctors. Like this first doctor that I had when I was in the Air Force. I can't remember offhand, but that motherfucker was writing all kind of lies about me. And sometimes when you go to talking too fast and they be trying to write, they can't get you, the story straight. That's number one. You got one thing at a time because they writing shit down. And you gotta find a doctor that's not that's listening to you more than writing shit down. I noticed that about my psychiatrist. She listens to me more than she writes shit down. Or some doctors will tell you slow down. Like my primary care doctor, she was writing as I was talking through when we was doing a video chat the other day, and she was telling me slow down. She still managed to get some shit like totally screwed up. But my nurse was telling me chill out, Brandy. I was about to pop off. My nurse was telling me chill out, Brandy, chill out. She is a good doctor. She just trust her. She is a good doctor. Just cool down. I'm like, man, I'm running out of medication. She's like, cool down. We're going to get this squared away. I'm like, that's the wrong medication. That ain't the medication I told her, blah, blah, blah. She's like, cool down. We're going to get this handled. We're going to get this squared away. Just a little mix up. She like, she is a good doctor. Trust me on this. Everybody like, I'm like, okay. I'm going to trust you on this. Okay. But then that second doctor I had in the Air Force was a woman. I mean, I had a white guy. The first time, didn't seem like he gave a fuck. Was just writing all kind of fucked up shit about me. Lies and everything. You will have that doctor. And I don't remember what happened to where I wound up having this woman doctor. Though I was so pissed off with the first doctor, I wouldn't talk to her at all. It was kind of like, not to the point where I was going to her house and all that shit. But you remember that scene? What's the name of that movie? What's that movie with the Navy SEAL? Where the dude had PTSD. His situation similar to mine, being sexually abused in a foster home, physically abused in a foster home, had siblings. Well, those were his foster siblings that was physically abused in a foster home. Then he had to find his biological parents, and got into a lot of fights in the military. So I was sexually abused in the military. But he had PTSD. He was diagnosed with PTSD by the psychiatrist. Denzel Washington was his psychiatrist. And it took him a while to open up this Denzel Washington. Oh, man, was Antoine Fisher. Antoine Fisher, that movie. Well, just like that, it took me a while to open up to that second doctor. And she was a black lady. I don't remember her name. I kind of remember what she looked like. She was like, I think she was like a captain or some shit like that. And after a few weeks, I did wind up opening up to her. Something, I don't remember what it was that got me to trust her, to open up to her. And she even started when the military. See, when I was in the Air Force, what people don't know is the entire time, not basic training, not tech school, but when I was in the Air Force active duty, they was not paying me right. This lady showed me where to go, how to go for them to start, and even then they wasn't paying me my full share. I was making more in tech school than I was in my actual field. But they was at least paying me a little, like they'll pay me like $100 something. And then I gotta go to this office to where they give me like $300 or something more dollars, to where I was making like close to $400 every 2 weeks. And if I'm not mistaken, when I was there too, I would be standing in line with the lady because they wasn't paying her right either. It was something jacked up in the system. I don't remember what was going on, but everybody pay was messed up at that particular base. Everybody's pay. But the whole time I was in the military, I wasn't getting paid like I was supposed to. But yeah, I wound up opening up to that lady. It was some lady when I was in Atlanta in the process of getting my kids back. There was this doctor that she was a bitch. She was. And I gave her kind of somewhat the same lecture I gave my foster mama that made this lady pipe the fuck down. I ain't gonna say it was a lecture. It was something I said that just made her consider how she treats her patients and how she talked to people. I don't remember what it was, but her whole demeanor every time after that changed, and it really changed when she found out she gave me this high combination. She was like giving me Effexor, Geodon, Hydroxyzine, Depakote, and Abilify and Seroquel all at the same time. It could have killed me. And I was like drooling. My girlfriend was teasing me, talking about she can't be with somebody that's dependent on medication. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend, drooling at the table and shit, falling asleep in the caseworker's lap. Then I collapsed, and cause I was trying to take 5-hour energy drinks and coffee, trying to make up for that sleep I lost the night before and shit. Trying to go visit my kids, and I collapsed, and I passed out. I couldn't respond, but I heard somebody say, "Oh, she for sure ain't getting her kids back now." But even on all that medication, I was still determined and still trying to fight to get my kids back. I was, and it was all fucking hard. But I sat there. She had me on the medication. My heart kept fluttering, and I was sitting there like discreetly going in the bathroom, masturbating. I was sitting there. My girlfriend was wondering why I was like wanting to have sex more and more and more. And she like, we just had sex. I'm like, I know. And then so I'm like, fuck it. So I went in the. She like, what are you doing in that bathroom? I'm like, mind your business. So I'm like going to my appointments, hiding in the bathroom. After each appointment, I'm talking to my doctors and shit. Going get my little rub on. And to the point where this one day it just got real intensified. My heart started fluttering, and I'm driving. I called the one of the people that was trying to advocate for me to get my kids back. I called her. I'm like, I can't take this no more. My heart fluttering. I'm about to drive into the back of this 18-wheeler. I was on the way. I told her, I said, I'm on the way to the emergency room, but I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm about to drive into the back of this 18-wheeler. And she just coached me all the way to the emergency room. I made it to the emergency room. I'm in the emergency room. They didn't have enough beds for me, so I'm in a fucking hallway just getting it. I'm like, I'm about to lose my kids. I'm about to lose my kids. I'm about to lose my kids. The most embarrassing thing ever. So I told the psychiatrist that was a bitch to me, and she was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah. So she changed my medication. I told her, I said, please don't ever put me on nothing like that again. Because I was court ordered to take that to see a psychiatrist. They had me to see a psychiatrist that falsely diagnosed me with psychosis with the intent, because the system in Atlanta, Georgia is so corrupt. They was trying to falsely diagnose me with psychosis so that I couldn't get my kids back and had me paying them child support. It was on some crooked shit, twisted shit, and then certain shit wasn't working because they was like, damn, she on all this medication and she's still doing everything we tell her to do. So then it was like, fuck, we gotta make up some lies. So they trying to lie and say I wasn't showing up to visits, I was falling asleep and this and that. And I was like, wrong. I'm not falling asleep on the visits. It was crazy. Because I was taking them 5-hour shots so I wouldn't fall asleep on them visits. You call that cheating, I don't care. I was doing any means necessary to get my babies back. Because I felt like they belong with me. And I felt like nobody could protect them in this world but me. But, yeah, these fucking medications, Even certain heart medications that say will cause diarrhea, vomiting, this and that. And tell your doctor if it causes this or that. You could take a medicine for diabetes that'll drop your sugar lower than it's supposed to be. That's why you're supposed to check your numbers and supposed to be monitoring your shit. Uh, all kinds of medications. It's just the way that life is. The same thing with psych medications. Tell your doctor if you're having X, Y, and Z problems. The whole key with all these medications is to keep you balanced. And then they also say we're on these medications to help to maintain a healthy diet while on these medications so you can flush that old waste out. And drink a lot of water so you can flush the old waste out because it becomes toxic in your body just sitting in your stomach after some time. You know what I'm saying? So I was just sitting here feeling like I'm about to break a sweat, but not quite breaking a sweat. It might be cold as hell in here. And that's another thing I've been dealing with. Being somewhere and everybody like, I'm freezing. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a lake of fire since I've been on this medication. So, like I said, I got it made where I got a nurse that I could text 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and she'll get back to it during the weekday. You know, she ain't gonna go off on me for texting her at that time of night. And then I got my doctor. Uh, you know what I'm saying? I kind of wish I had a psychologist, which I think that was who I was seeing in the military. Psychologist, not psychiatrist. But and then there is a difference. Psychologist is to a therapist that you talk to. Psychologist is the one that distributes medication. But what's wrong with talking to a therapist? I don't know. Somebody you can vent and talk your feelings out to unless you got something to hide. Unless you know something is wrong with you and you just in denial. In which most people that have mental health at the degree that you have it, the numbers are up, whether they be in denial. The statistics. Also, the statistics are up where um they call that condition. Your mind is conditioned after you've been homeless for so long. Just like people that been in jail for so long, they do stuff to go right back in because their mind is conditioned. That's all they know. They don't want to go. They don't know how to break. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, I was in the military. Certain things from what the military taught me, I cannot break. And statistics show that certain people, after being homeless for so long, do not want to come out of homelessness. Am I speaking facts or no?